Welcome back to the TK423 podcast, where today we are going to dive in to number 10 on our Star Wars film list out of 11. And this one's going to be pretty juicy, folks. So strap on your seatbelts, get your popcorn, get your soda pop, preferably Dr. Pepper, and let's get this show on the road. Let's go.
So what I told you was true, from a certain point of view.
So, rank number 10. Rank number 10 is The Last Jedi. Okay? Why? I'll tell you why. First off, for starters, the movie itself is very beautiful, right? Good effects. It's very eye drawing. Like it draws you in, right? Visually speaking. Okay. Now, where this film falters is when you look at the Skywalker story as a whole. Okay. And just picture this, right? A story where it makes sense from point A to point B to point C to point D and so on and so forth, right? This film represents the biggest, most wrong thing you can do in a 9-film Skywalker saga. Okay? So this film basically takes everything it did in The Force Awakens, crumbles it up, and throws it away.
What a piece of junk!
It's like when you throw a Lego off a ledge and it breaks, it shatters, and you don't have the instructions anymore, and you built it 10 years ago. It's going to be very hard to put every single little piece back exactly where it was. Okay? And if you do that, kudos to you. I mean, you probably could have directed this movie better. Or The Rise of Skywalker, at least. But in terms of The Last Jedi, that was throwing the Lego off the ledge. Okay? You basically took Finn's character, who what a lot of the audience was thinking was going to go into a Jedi state, was going to be turned into a Jedi, turns into just another resistance fighter. And that made a lot of people mad, including John Boyega himself. Made him angry.
That's not how the Force works.
The Last Jedi then proceeds to implement these plots, like these plot twists and destinations and sequences that don't make any sense. Okay? The Canto Bight scene, all right, where they're running through the casino trying to find the code breaker, and then they show the code breaker, and then there's like zero interaction with the code breaker. Okay? And then they run into Benicio del Toro in the prison cells, and he says he could be the code breaker, right? What was the point? What was the point of like you're not even going to try? Like, okay, you're going to escape, but you're not even going to try to go get the code breaker. You're just going to go off of this guy's like, oh yeah, trust me. I'm sitting in a prison cell, but trust me, dude. Come on. So, I think that was very unnecessary. Like, the last time I watched that movie, I literally fast forwarded through that whole sequence because I felt like it was pointless to the entire story. Okay. So on top of Finn and Rose wasting time, okay, and let me get something very clear here. Rose, the character, the character served zero purpose. Kelly Marie Tran, on the other hand, does not deserve any heat from it. Nor did she ever deserve any heat from it, right? It's not her fault that her character was not written properly, okay? If they wanted to ship Rose and Finn, okay, they should have done it in a way to where you take Rey out of the picture completely, to where Finn, because Finn obviously has feelings for Rey. You see it in The Force Awakens, you see it in The Last Jedi, and you see it in The Rise of Skywalker. So for them to, I mean, it felt like it was a failed attempt to romance them, but ultimately Rose contributed to butchering Finn's character even more. And because Finn could have, even though all the way up in that to the point in the film where he was driving directly into the First Order's beam ray that was shooting into their base, trying to get in, he was about to save the day. He was about to drive into that thing, blow it up, and then it would have left the First Order having to rethink their whole plan, right? But as he was going to be the sacrifice, a First Order stormtrooper turned good and then sacrifices himself to defeat the First Order to help the Resistance escape. That's I'll take it. But instead, Rose crashes into his vehicle and ruins it. Saves his life. If he wanted his life saved, he wouldn't have done that. As a character, he wouldn't have done that. So, like I said, it is nothing against the actors or actresses that are playing these roles. It is the roles. It's the writing. It's the scripts. It's everything, okay? It's not the actors or actresses' faults. I'm getting that very 1,000% clear, okay? So, already up top, Finn, wasted character. Rey had potential, right? If they would have showed, if she would have been trained more, if they would have started training her in The Force Awakens, like if they would have just extended The Force Awakens like 5 minutes and actually had Mark Hamill speak at the end instead of just look at her, right? It could have been like, so you're the person who connected with this lightsaber. I felt a tremor in the Force. Time to train you, kind of thing. Not obviously verbatim or what I just said, but you get what I'm saying, right? So, and then maybe a time jump between Force Awakens and The Last Jedi, right? Because it picks up right from where The Force Awakens left off, because Mark Hamill just takes that lightsaber and just throws it over his shoulder like it means nothing, which another thing, that is, it's a failed attempt at humor, and we'll get to the failed attempts at humor too, and it did not fit Mark Hamill's Luke Skywalker at all, and Mark Hamill agrees. So at the end of the day, Finn was ruined. Rey was pumped up to be this almighty Jedi that Luke briefly trained, and before that she had zero training. Han Solo didn't train her. Maz Kanata didn't train her. Touching the lightsaber and seeing, flashbacks of Bespin, seeing the Knights of Ren, and all that stuff didn't train her. Okay? She had a fight with Kylo Ren, but due to the poor writing, that fight should have went very differently. So that's for the first part. Now the second part of this, okay? The beginning sequence between Poe Dameron and General Hux, okay? It served zero purpose for me, okay? So basically Poe's just stalling him, right? He's stalling him, but he's throwing these stupid jokes. These things that these mannerisms, these remarks, everything about that scene is just so cringe, right? Now in another movie, okay, in another movie that's not Star Wars, it could come off. It still, I think, will come off as cringy, because if you put Tarkin in that position of Hux, Tarkin, Thrawn, do you think he would sit there and listen to that? They would both say, cut the communications, blow that ship out of the sky. That's what would happen. If it was Thrawn or Tarkin, that's what would have happened. So, but again, bad writing. Then we get on to the next problem, which when I saw this in theaters, I started getting emotional. When I saw Leia get blown into space, I was like, that's it. Kylo Ren blew up the ship, killed his mother. Holy my goodness. That was sad. We saw Princess Leia get obliterated, right? No. 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 Nope. 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 Jedi power does not give you the ability to breathe in outer space. It doesn't. It just doesn't. I'm sorry. Number one, you get blown up. Okay? You get blown up. And when I mean blown up, like, you see how the scene goes where, like, everything's just engulfed in flames. And then you see her body get yanked into space. I mean, yanked into space. And you just, and then she, and I always refer to this as like a Mary Poppins thing, but she literally just using the Force to extend back to the ship. Nah. That, they did the same thing in The Rise of Skywalker when it made the audience think that Rey killed Chewbacca. In reality, she didn't, right? And then, so they made Kylo Ren think that he killed his mom. Now, anyone who follows Star Wars, anyone who knows Star Wars, anyone who has watched the movies as much as I have, knows that when you lose someone, you're a Force user, and then you're connected to another Force user, you feel something inside of you. When they literally die, it's like part of your soul gets taken out of your body. And we're talking about his mother, who is more Force sensitive than even he is. So you look at that and you think, he wouldn't know that she survived? That he could still feel her presence? I mean, he talked to Han Solo. Han Solo didn't know a lick of the Force, and yet he projected a Han Solo in The Rise of Skywalker and talked to him. Not, obviously not literally, right? But if that was in him, okay, how is it that he didn't sense that his mother was still alive? Okay, so I don't know. It doesn't make sense. None of the things about this movie make any sense. Luke being the way he is. Luke wanting to kill a kid in his sleep because he saw visions of him destroying his Jedi temple, right? Just got done whopping Darth Vader, okay? He made a rash decision like that before, like when he was in the midst of his training, right? When he left to go save his friends in Cloud City. Well, yeah, friends not knowing that they were family, right? And Leia. He was going to save them in Cloud City from Vader, and Yoda was telling him, "You're not ready. You're going to get whacked. This is not the right time. You have to finish your training. It's okay. You have to finish your training." And he goes off and does it. So you're telling me that the Luke that was training, he saw that his friends were in danger, right? And he went off. Okay? Then, after all of his training is concluded, he has become a Jedi Grand Master. He started his own Jedi Order. Okay? And then he sees a vision that he couldn't put two and two together, that it's just Snoke in his head, that Kylo Ren's going to destroy his whole Jedi Order. And then he, instead of confronting him about it and talking to him about it, like he did Darth Vader, the deadliest person in the galaxy at that time, he didn't want to talk to him. He just wanted to try and kill him in his sleep. And then it was a split thing where, I thought about it, but no, he's just a kid. He's looking back at me right now. Holy crap, I'm standing above him with the lightsaber ignited. I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm just going to gasp. No. That wouldn't happen. Because Luke is confident in the way he talks and the way he convinced his father. Okay? He would not just outright try and kill the kid. I mean, he wouldn't try and kill him. He would want to talk to him. Okay? So, and then if he had to kill him, then he would do it after talking to him about it. He wouldn't just outright just try to kill him. No, it makes zero sense. So, when you put all of this together, okay, what is one thing that could have fixed it? I already said it previously. What's one thing that could have fixed a lot of these issues? A time jump. Okay? A time jump. If you would have had a time jump between The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi to where Rey received proper training to give her character depth, to give her character backstory, to give her character credibility, okay, then this movie would have been it would have made a lot more sense. Not saying it would have been a lot better, but it would have made a lot more sense. Okay. And so now, with all that out there, let's not forget on Rey fighting the Praetorian Guards, the elite Praetorian Guards, and having less trouble than Kylo Ren. And on top of that, saving Kylo Ren at the end of it. Again, Rey has, here's Kylo Ren's training. I mean, he was trained by Luke. He was trained along fellow Jedi. And then he was trained by Snoke, who then ended up being the Emperor. So you could really say that he was trained by Luke, Snoke, and the Emperor. Snoke just being a placeholder, like a host. So you're meaning to tell me, with Kylo Ren's training up here, and then Rey's training about down here, for the very brief time that Luke trained her, okay, and we're talking before Rise of Skywalker, so this is where their training is at right now. How in a Bantha's wrong mind does that happen? How? Please explain that to me, fans. Okay, how does that happen? Why is it justifiable to give Rey all this power without training? Being able to use a lightsaber like the way she did against the Praetorian Guards. How is that possible? Okay, it's not. It's not. So, and not to mention that they had to CGI cut out one of the Praetorian Guards' blades when they were fighting Rey, and it was very obvious. Like, maybe you didn't see it the very first time you were watching because a lot of things were going on, and you were just trying to focus and you never seen it before, but you watch it just a second time after that, and you're looking and you're observing, and you're like, look at that, look, second blade, just gone, poof, out of nowhere, just gone. So, no, just doesn't work for me. Doesn't work for a lot of people. And it, again, I'll say this now, I'm blue in the face. Like blue in the face. It doesn't make sense. Okay? It doesn't make sense. And then to top it off, they broke the lightsaber, which should have remained broken. Like, Rise of Skywalker should have started with her newly built yellow lightsaber. Would have been a lot better film with her having her own actual lightsaber. Because guess what? She got her lightsaber. She got her own lightsaber when she received training. Think about that. Okay? Think about that. When do Jedi start making their lightsabers? Okay? Luke used a hand-me-down until he lost it, right? But everyone knows one of your first steps down the Jedi path is creating your lightsaber. Creating it. Putting your crystal in everything. Okay? And she didn't get it till the very end of episode 9. So, at the end of the day, The Last Jedi was a catastrophe. Okay? In terms of story, cohesiveness, blending in with the original trilogy, blending in with The Force Awakens. It just did not, it took a hard right turn, because The Force Awakens had a good foundation that could have, some minor things that could have been fixed and made better in the second film, but instead they take what they had in The Force Awakens and they crumbled it up, they threw it away, and then they went back, cut out little pieces of that crumbled up paper, and then put it piece, and they even moved Kylo Ren's scar. Like, it just doesn't, no, it doesn't, it don't work like that. So, Last Jedi, ranked 10 out of 11, and rightfully so. Okay? Rightfully so. Go back and watch it. Let me know your opinion down below. And remember this, that it's okay if The Rise of Skywalker or The Last Jedi are your favorite films. It's fine. I'm just saying that this is my opinion, and I've seen these movies enough. I've seen the original trilogy, the sequel trilogy, all Star Wars content enough to know that The Last Jedi did not give us a Star Wars movie. It gave us a sci-fi movie at the end of the day that was surely entertaining at first, but then the more you look at it, the more horrendous it gets. So, number 10, Last Jedi. Number 11, Rise of Skywalker. What's going to come in at number 9? Who knows? Next episode on the TK423 podcast, we will dive into that. So, without further ado, like I said before, leave your comments below. Leave your opinions. I want to hear what you have to say. And like and subscribe if you want to see more of this content. And without further ado, may the Force be with you.